I found a pretty cool camp spot. This is right off the trail. It crosses a bridge and goes up by the creek. And then there's another bridge and a platform. And it comes out over there. And then the Bartram trail goes that way. So it's kind of made that way to route you around through the waterfall. I'm setting my hammock and all up there. Ran into another guy who was out hiking just for like a day thing. So says I'm like 11 miles from Raburn Bald. So that's the goal for tomorrow. We're getting camp broke down this morning. Had a pretty nice night. I'm gonna take you up this the Bartram Trail does a funny little circle loop. Takes you by a waterfall. And I walked up there last night with the guy that was out here hiking. But I'm going to go back up there this morning without my pack and put it on video. It never did rain last night, but it's misty and cloudy like it could. If we followed the Bartram Trail around, it comes here and then loops back the way we just came up. I don't remember the name of this waterfall. If I think about it, I'll look it up and type it in the name on the description. But pretty cool little waterfall. Had to hear that all night. Well, I'm gonna go finish getting everything broke down and packed up and get the day started. It's almost 8:30. I got up around 7:30. So a little earlier today than I've been getting up. So hopefully I can make it to Raburn Bald today. That'll be about a 12-mile hike from what that guy said yesterday afternoon. So we'll see how it goes. It started sprinkling, so I decided to make breakfast and see what was going to happen, and it stopped. I'm having hot chocolate, which is I use a Sea to Summit spoon, and it's 1 spoon of cocoa mix, 2 spoons of dark brown sugar, and a splash of vanilla. And then I made some oatmeal. So 8 spoons of rolled oats, I got some raisins, 2 spoons of dark brown sugar, and about a half a spoon of butter. And that's some pretty good stuff. The only thing I could see to make it better would be some cinnamon. So I'm gonna have breakfast. It's 9:30. So far this is still gonna put me on the trail earlier than I've been doing. So hopefully the rain will hold off and turn it back. Well, we made it at the trail to where the side trail branches off to Pinnacle Knob. The guy I talked to last night, he recommended camping on Pinnacle Knob just because of the views. He said it was about 2 miles from that campground, but I was tired, ready for camp, and the fact that it was right there by the stream and the waterfall, I just stayed there last night. But it's been pretty well a steady uphill climb since we left the campground. It appears that we have some good elevation if all the foliage wasn't on the trees. You probably have some nice views from here. I'm not sure how much further up to Pinnacle Knob. I think I've been about a mile, and he said 2 miles, so that'd be a mile up and a mile back. So I'm gonna skip that. The goal is to try to do this hike in 10 days. It's 115 miles. And so far this is day 3. And I'm at 25 miles, something like that. So we'll see. I'm learning a pretty good bit on this trick, so that was the main purpose. But we'll see if I can make it all the way to Bald, or if I'm going to run out of time. The trail since Warwoman Dell has been fairly well maintained. There was a couple of blowdowns a little ways back. I had to get on my hands and knees to crawl under. But other than that, it's been pretty good. The guy I was talking to last night said the other portion on the south side of Warwoman Dell wasn't as popular of a hike, so that would explain why it's not as well maintained. But as you can see right now, it's almost like walking down the highway. I'm glad it's going downhill for a little bit. Up from Courthouse Gap, this is probably the first mountain view I've gotten. There's a lot of trees and stuff in the way, but you can see some. And that's the trail we just came up. Luckily that blowdown was just high enough to walk under. They're usually just low enough that you catch the pack trying to squat down. But that was a pretty steep little trek from Courthouse Gap. Probably wasn't very far. And we're bordering the wildlife management area. The first sign I saw coming up from Courthouse Gap, somebody had shot it with a shotgun. I don't know what people's fascination with shooting signs. I've noticed that a lot in North Carolina and this northern part of Georgia. I think even the road signs, people's shot them with a shotgun or something. Oh well, that's it is hunting season, early October, it's bow season. So I am wearing a blaze orange buff just in case, but haven't seen any hunters yet, which if they're good camouflage you shouldn't see them. We're about 10 miles from Raburn Bald, according to that sign at Courthouse Gap. So that's the goal for the day. It is almost 1 o'clock. I had cell service at the Courthouse Gap, so I touched base with home and looked at the weather forecast. Not supposed to be any rain, well, that's good. So I'll keep plugging along and I'll try to call it a day by 6 o'clock. So it's another 5 hours. I can typically maintain around a 2-mile-an-hour pace. So maybe we'll make it to Raburn Bald. We'll just have to see. Stopped here at this log, have a snack. I had looked up an article, kind of give me some mileages and stuff. So I think I'm about 6 miles from Raburn Bald. It's almost 3 o'clock. Said there was a camp spot with water a couple miles before the Bald. So I may stop there for the day. It's starting to get cold. I mean, not while I'm hiking, but I'm gonna stop there at that log for about I don't know, 15-20 minutes. Starting to get chilled. I got dry clothes and a warm sleeping bag, so I'm not worried about later on. It's just, it hadn't been raining, but we're in the cloud, so everything's just damp. And with the elevation change, of course, temperature drops. I'd say it's in the low 60s, maybe. Well, looks like we got some more uphill to do. Nice wide trail we were on earlier. Yes, back down the mountain somewhere. It's been like this for, I don't know, the last quarter mile or so. I saw where they had been doing a lot of trail work. There's a bunch of, let's turn the camera on and opens back up again. I saw where there's a bunch of sticks and stuff where they'd cut off probably in the last few weeks. Overall, except for a few spots here or there, and 3 or 4 blow down, the trail's been in good shape. It's on a gradual uphill. I don't mind gradual so much. Got a little bit of a view, but not much. I bet here another month or two, and all the leaves have fallen. There'd be a lot of views. But unfortunately I couldn't wait that late, and the weather couldn't really ask for better weather. It's cool, but it's not cold, and it's warm, like streams and stuff. The water's bearable for washing the dirt and sweat off. So it is what it is. Can't have everything. Alright, I'm going to keep on hiking. I'm not sure how close we are to Raburn Bald. I hadn't come across that camp spot with the water yet. So I'll either get to that or Raburn Bald, and then I'll know. I found the campsite with water. There's another little fire ring right there, and then the trail. The water's just kind of a trickle. I do got 1 bar of service, so it's 4:15, and the thing I was reading said there was another campsite about a half a mile further without water, and we're at like 27 point something miles. Raburn Bald is 31.3, so that's like another 4 miles. I think we're just going to call it a day. Set up camp. I'd really get to camp early and have time to set everything up and feel like making some food. It's pretty overcast. If it was the winter time, you'd probably have some nice views from here. You can probably see out through there how cloudy it is. So I know on the Bald you can't hammock camp because there's no trees on the Bald. So I'm not going to push on and try to make it before dark. I'll just call it a day here. Maybe even build a fire or something, who knows. Since I got to camp early today and got a little time, I'll go over a couple of gear things so far that I've been using. My tarp for my hammock is the ProFly XL, and I love this tarp. It's got tons of room. the prevailing winds are going this way, so I have this end over here opened up a little. On the ends of my guy lines, I keep a loop that I would normally double around the stake and then just feed the stakes through. But in this case, I use it to just hold it to the tree. And then all my guy lines have these bungee tensioners, and they are working quite nicely. That's a new addition for this hike. In the past it'd get pretty saggy, but I've not been having that problem. The hammock, it's just a parachute hammock. It was one somebody gave me. I'm not sure the name. It's a Ergologic. And then the bug net is the E&O Guardian. And then my sleeping bag is a hiking bike. I believe it's the Crestone. I can't tell, the tag's upside down. The 0 degree down, and the hammock just feeds through it. And then I use a cheap sleeping bag liner, and then I have a pillow. To carry the sleeping mat, I like to put that down on the ground when I'm stringing the hammock or putting the sleeping bag on or whatever. That way it's not touching and getting all the dirt on it. I do use a continuous ridge line, and I have a prusik in this ridge line, so I can adjust it as needed depending on how far apart the trees are. I have this knot here, so that's kind of like the furthest that direction I want to go. As I play around with it more, I'll probably come up with another knot on this side. Kind of don't go no further than those 2 points. I don't know what kind of cordage this is. This time I found it's a reflective guy line material, but it's been holding me up just fine for this hike, and then all the times I've used it beforehand. And then my backpack at nighttime, I just flip the carabiner open, slide it in, that holds it. I didn't carry a Rainfly. The one I have, it fits the pack, but not with the sleep mat on it. So when the sleep mat's attached to these, the Rainfly won't fit. I may put it back in. I haven't decided for going over it at nighttime. It's pretty well shielded, but if it had some rain that wanted to blow in, it would soak it. The backpack, it's the Osprey Ether 70 AG. It's a little big. I could probably get away with a 50 liter, but it carries the weight well. The only issue that I've had on this trip, I had a sore spot on my right hip, and that come from the shorts I was wearing. They were a pair of Duluth Trading Dry on the Fly Flex shorts, and I have worn them for hiking a lot, but for some reason the seam in the waistband was irritating me. So I had another pair of pants shorts that the legs zipped off, and I've worn them all day today, and it was a much improvement. So that being said, I got some more clothes than what I really need, but that was because I wanted to test and see what worked and what didn't for long multi-day hikes. The next long hike will have a little bit, 1 or 2 items less of clothes. The bear canister It's not very popular with hiking, but so far I love it. It makes a great seat. My bag stays consistent regardless of how much food I have. And as a food, I'll need to adjust. I'm carrying way more food than I really need. These first couple of days, I haven't eaten a whole lot, just hadn't been super hungry. So with the AT, this trip is a kind of a shakedown to see if I wanted to do the AT and what worked. With the AT, it'll be more strategic, and I'll carry probably less food than that. So if I could drop about 10 pounds off my pack weight, I'd be doing pretty good. I weighted on the floor scale, which I don't know how super accurate that was. It was 4 liters of water, full of food and everything, was like right at 50 pounds, which was a little heavier than what I wanted. I wanted more around 40. But I was like, well, I'll go with the worst case scenario and just haul to 50. So it is, as I've been eating yesterday and today, I can feel it's getting lighter. So I'm going to fix up something good this evening. And that's about it for right now. Haven't had any gear failures so far. Everything's holding up. There's a couple of items I got that may or may not need. I got a pretty compact fold-up baseball cap. And my sunglasses, or prescription sunglasses, haven't really needed those. But sunglasses doesn't weigh a whole lot either, so I don't know. We'll see when I get done. I don't know if I'll finish the whole thing or call it quits in Franklin, just because of the time. We got to get our stuff and our camper moved. So I've about figured out what I needed to from this hike. So I'm going to make it over into North Carolina for sure. And then we'll just play it day by day. I might be better off to use another day or two just getting some stuff ready to go. Alright, well, that's it for now. And then after I'm done with all the hike, I'll probably do a final gear review of what I'm going to take on the AT. As of right now, I'm still looking forward to starting the AT in April of 2020. So, alright, I'll get back with you later. The sun did briefly come out, and I got a few views, but it's starting to get cloudy again. So this would probably be a pretty good spot in the winter, I say. Okay, well, might check back in after I get dinner cooked, but that's about it for today. Alright, dinner is ready. It's about 6:47 in the afternoon, so getting close to dark. Got the backpacker tea to make with the 2 spoons of dark brown sugar and a splash of vanilla. And then the dinner is 8 spoons of rice, 2 spoons of powdered cheese, 2 spoons of dried onion, half a spoon of chives, some black pepper, some salt, and a can of tuna. And I think that's all I got in there. And it's pretty good. So I'm going to eat this and get everything cleaned up, including myself. Dirt. I use have a shamag, however you call that thing. that I wear around my neck. Keep it wet. And it helps me stay a lot cooler. I don't sweat near as much. Drink as much water. But I use that at nighttime. I go rinse it out in the creek and then use that to get all the dirt, sweat, stuff off, and then I'll wash it out again. Alright, well, I'm gonna get dinner, eat, and pack everything up, go stash my food. Alright, got camp broken down. It's about 9:30 Thursday morning. I got up around 7:30. I gotta figure out how to speed up the getting packed up, ready to go process. Always, whenever you got your pack open, as an old Boy Scout rule, take 5 paces and turn around and look back on the ground. I always do that, and so far I haven't left anything behind. So the goal today is to make it to Raburn Bald and maybe as far as the North Carolina border. I think it's like 5 miles to the Bald, and then I'm not sure on how many miles after that. Had some critters here last night. This wasn't here yesterday afternoon when I came through. The water source wasn't much to it. It's just kind of a muddy trickle. I went back up in there in the rocks and found a spot where it was running off the rock enough to fill up my water bag. And you can see all down through there where, I don't know if it's wild pigs or what, been rooting around in the mud. I had a couple of owls hooting off in the distance last night. That was kind of cool. It's cold and foggy, but hopefully this will burn off by the time we get to the Bald. I read that the trail pretty much from Raburn Bald to the North Carolina border is pretty well maintained. It's a popular section, so we shall see. I went to put the pack on a while ago, and this massive brown spider came running out from my shoulder harness just as I went to sling it around. Like, man, I'm glad you came out now, not after I got the pack put on. I'm not really afraid of spiders, but I still don't want them on me. Now it looks like they've done some trail maintenance up to here. and then stop for the day, or for the week, or for the year, or however they do that. But you can see all this stuff's been knocked back. Pretty fresh. Probably from this weekend. Problem with all this, you get your feet hung on it and everything else. Been following this wildlife boundary pretty much all day yesterday. So there for a while I hadn't seen any yellow blazes, and I thought, well, maybe they're just counting, because they have those every, I don't know, 100 feet apart or something. So maybe they just suffice those to be a blaze, but they still blaze it every now and again. So we've been about a half a mile from our camp spot. Rock says we're at Wilson Gap. It's 8.5 miles from Warwoman, Dell. Raburn Bald is 5.6 miles. I've heard you can't go by those rocks anymore because of the trail reroutes and stuff like that. This looks like it would have been a pretty nice camp spot for a tent or hammock. Mayonnaise and mustard packets out on the ground. Food trash in the fire pit. And that's why I use the bear canisters. So many people are so sloppy with food. So I'll just keep mine in the bear canister, because you never know where you go, what critters are around and what they've had to deal with and gotten used to. So, but I'm glad I didn't stay here. I don't like camping this close to a road, because you never know who's going to show up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. There's the trail over there. So we're going to keep chugging along. So we've made it to another forest road. It's about 10:15. And Rainfly Bald is 5 miles. So we've been about a mile in the last 40 minutes, something like that. I don't see or hear any water, but that looks like it'd be a good camp spot. So hopefully we'll get to the Bald around 1 o'clock, something like that. That last little section was pretty nice. It wasn't steep. It was fairly level. So from what I read online, this part here has some steep bits, but not like long steep sections. We shall see. We have a couple of views starting to poke out. It's still pretty foggy. But it's starting to clear off back that way, so maybe, just never can tell. I just ran into 2 trail runners a bit ago, and let's see, that makes on trail the 3rd person I've seen. So it's been pretty secluded. Now I did see the 2 guys cleaning the privy at Warwoman Dell, and the 2 ladies with their dog at Warwoman Dell, but I've only seen 3 people on the trail. This grade here is quite pleasant. It's just, it doesn't feel uphill, downhill really. It's just a fairly level grade. So probably making some decent time. It's about 10:30, so not too much further past where we were the last time I had the camera on. Yeah, in another month or so, when all the leaves are off on a clear day, this would be a real pretty walk right here. I mean, it's not bad today, but as far as views go, I just hope I can get the view from the top of the bald up there. This is the first real view, I could say. We just been coming up some switchbacks. Got some more switchbacks to go. The trail runners I saw a little bit ago just passed me back going the other way. I talked to them for a few minutes. If the clouds weren't there, it would be pretty good right here. You can tell they keep the trees and stuff cut back. We'll keep going. Talking to the trail runners, I think it's about 3 miles to go to the bald, and it's 11 o'clock. Well, 11:06. So, yeah, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Just depends on the terrain and the speed. Well, we've reached a campsite not too far from that view a while ago. According to the thing online that I'm reading, we're at like 29.4 miles. We were at 26.5 when we started this morning. So it's about 3 miles. Looks like an okay camp spot. It's flooded over there, but so in heavy rains that water probably runs out over here. Well, that's probably running out over there underground anyway. Alright, well, and there's a little trail, another spot over there. Well, we're going to keep going. Well, we made it to the campsite at Salt Rock Gap. So we're 30.4 miles. That puts us 2.2 miles. Well, it's 32.2 miles at Raburn Bald, so a little less than 2 miles to go. There's no water here. I believe there's some water further up. I don't need any water, but this is the big camp spot. So if you wanted to come to the Bald but not stay all night up on the Bald, you could just hike 2 miles down to here. It looks like there's a trail over there. Yeah, it's this way. Alright. Looks like we get to huff and puff up some more hills. So, well, we made it to some signs. Alex Mountain and Flint Knob is that way. Raburn Bald is 0.9. So we're at Flint Gap, that looks like. Kind of hard to tell, but I think that's what that says. So, less than a mile. It's almost 1 o'clock. So, we're almost there. I made it to the fire tower, and there was several people on the fire tower, so I didn't record anything up there. I just took those photos with my phone, and they offered me a ride to Dillard, and I took them up on the offer. I'm waiting on my wife to come get me. Decided to cut it short, not because it was too difficult, but I could tell I wasn't going to make it to the end in the time I needed. And after 4 nights and 3 days, I could really use a shower. So I decided to get off the trail, and I learned a lot. So I'm going to do a follow-up video on things I'm taking out, things I may be adding, and get ready for the AT in April of 2020. Thank you for following along.